Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic the Gathering. This is from the new F&M series at Scholars Games. They're doing Legacy every Friday night. Just after 7 o'clock, we battle for a Force of Will for first place. And this week we had 17 players, a solid first week. I look forward to those numbers growing and the prize pool continuing to grow with it, because of course the prize pool does scale. Rodney on Dragon, leading out with Gemstone Mine on a Mull. And Underground Sea, finding the mana for a Preordain. Two very explosive decks here. Storm a little bit more capable of finding silver bullets and finding ways around whatever roadblocks can be thrown in its way. This Reanimator list a little bit more linear, totally reliant on its graveyard, and it is very pleased to see Deathrite Shaman has left the room. Deathrite was a huge problem for the deck in some of the slower draws. Of course, the deck is extremely explosive and very often would leave Deathrite Shaman in the dust. But the combination of Counter Magic and Deathrite was a real challenge, and that challenge has left the building. So we'll see how the Reanimator builds continue to evolve. This is the top 4 of the tournament. So obviously, Reanimator's in a pretty solid place, at least based off of that one anecdotal data point. There's a Duress, which is responded to with Entomb. And that is building the storm count. Bristlebrand goes to the graveyard. So just Lotus Petal. Dragon mulliganed and has been hit by discard, but still in an extremely dangerous place. All that needs to happen is top decking Animate or Dance of the Dead. Is a almost certain victory if that happens. Dark Ritual, however. Lotus Petal, 4 black. Cabal Ritual. Cabal Ritual. Infernal, revealing Tendrils with 8 black mana floating. That's bad news right there. Tendrils, and that's game. The old double Tendrils. Low storm count. Tendrils for 10, Tendrils for 12. That'll do it. Other lines were available. No need to get too complicated there. Could have potentially tried to shield the fact that I've run double Tendrils. There are some considerations for mind games in terms of if you want to be using Past in Flames or showing your double Tendrils, but at the end of the day, the W is the W, and all of that information is going to end up being public sooner than later. If I wanted to keep everything public, probably should not start a YouTube channel and encourage people to be subscribing and sharing the word, which I am doing. I really appreciate everybody who's subscribed to the channel and helped grow it. We're closing in on 500 subscribers, which is our first milestone. After that, it's going to be a march to 1,000 subscribers and hopefully beyond. We'll see just how much hunger there is for legacy content, both Fast Effect, where I do the commentary, and that raw tournament footage where we just upload the matches and you get to watch everything go along in real time. Rodney on the play here. Dark Ritual in both of these decks functions rather differently. In Rodney's deck, it's really trying to hit that plateau of 3 mana. In Storm, you're looking to generate massive amounts with multiple rituals. Rodney really doesn't need too much in the way of extra rituals. Very often, Ritual will be the type of card that gets pitched to unmask just to accelerate the disruption. And there is Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize on himself into Animate. So we've got infinite mana here. What's the last card? It looks like it's just a draw. So Rodney had an option there. Do you mull to 6 or do you mull to 7, essentially? Rodney Thoughtseizing himself and setting up a turn 1 infinite loop with Dragon. That may be a criticism of the deck, or perhaps a strength if that was a Griselbrand. He certainly would have been much happier. But he has loaded up on Griselbrands, to my knowledge. So now Rodney leading out with the Thoughtseize, and this one is going to take out... Let's see here. Got Chain of Vapor, defensive card. If he does attempt to combo out with World Gorger, that will end badly, nuking all of his permanents. Blue Elemental Blast back in the day also served a similar role in Vintage when Goblins was an actual deck in that format. But World Gorger almost certainly not going to be enough of a player in the format. I think it will likely remain on the fringe just because of how afraid people are of those exact blowout scenarios. Rodney entombing. And he gets the Griselbrand. We see the dance right on top. Dance of the Dead grabbing Griselbrand. Comes in tapped. He's going to be able to see 14 cards here. See some Lotus Petals. He passes the turn. It's very over. We've got a Cabal Therapy. There's Tendrils and Chain of Vapor. Either one of those are a potential problem here. He hits the Chain of Vapor. Unmask himself, putting World Gorger into the graveyard. And there's the 2 Lotus Petals. Let's see if he's got an Animate spell as well. He does. An Animate Dead. Go ahead and shove those to the front of the hand. And he's got the Sun-Scorched Desert. So that's going to be infinite damage right there. And that is it for Game 3. Moving on to Game 4. This time, Storm on the play. Last time Rodney and I played, I had the very questionable Silent Gravestone in my sideboard. That was an attempt to mitigate the damage of Deathrite Shaman decks versus Past in Flames and Cabal Ritual. To a lesser degree, Cabal Therapy. The idea was stop Surgical and Fair Macabre and all those type of cards post-board and give a little bit more game versus Deathrite Shaman. It was weak sauce, to be fair. Did not function particularly well. I think I lost a match versus Rodney with it. I definitely lost a game because of it. But he was aware of my previous sideboard strategy. I have since changed to some better cards in the shape of Surgical Extraction and Tormod's Crypt and We'll continue to tinker with the sideboard as this new format unfolds. We've got a Blood Crypt here instead of Badlands. That is a budgetary reason. He has played Faithless Looting, discarding Surgical, and he's got 2 Lotus Petals into Animate. So we've got a turn 1 Animate Gristlebrand on the stack here. And in response, see if there's a it's a Surgical. Don't even need to brainstorm into it. It's right there. And that is a massive, massive swing there, hitting essentially the Lotus Petals and the Animate. So there's a Dance as well left in hand. So Rodney from here is going to need to draw some more mana. Flashback. Faithless Looting. Try and find a way to find that World Gorger. This is still a very dangerous situation, but a massive, massive defensive play there from Storm. Oh, and it looks like some counting going on here. Is it possible that this is going to be a turn 2? Is Dark Ritual. So Infernal or Dark Ritual. Showing a couple of Dark Rituals. Ball Therapy would be an absolute blowout here. That is not what was living on top of the deck. I gotta think this is the turn now, having used an Infernal Tutor as a setup. Dark Ritual makes 5 black, a storm count of 2. Duress can take a... Oh, gonna just Infernal here for a Cabal Ritual. It looked like there was a Duress in the hand. There is. Probably would have been correct to fire that off a bit earlier. Taking the Dance. Cabal Ritual. And this is an awful lot of mana here. Dark Petition, and that can grab a Past in Flames. And that should do it from there. We know the hand. It is not going to be good enough to stop this Past in Flames. Not that Dragon has much to say about the opposing combo. It's really got to just find a way to win faster. And Surgical prevented it that game. That's all for this one. If you enjoyed the video, please help grow the channel by subscribing. You'll be notified when we upload new videos like Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic with commentary, or Untapped, our raw tournament gameplay. Thanks for watching.